Ever wondered how you could nap, read a book, or even cook spaghetti while driving? Well, don't try it yet, but the world of autonomous vehicles might just let you do that eventually. Let's take a journey back in time, to the era of horse-drawn carriages and steam engines. Even then, the idea of a self-propelling vehicle was not alien. Inventors and dreamers were already envisioning machines that could transport people without the need for a human driver. Fast forward to the 20th century, the dream started to take shape. The concept of autonomous vehicles began to emerge, with experiments conducted in the 1950s and 60s, exploring the possibilities of driverless transportation. These early attempts, while groundbreaking, were still a far cry from the self-driving marvels we envisage today. As we moved into the late 20th and early 21st centuries, advancements in technology accelerated the development of autonomous vehicles. With the advent of sophisticated sensors, high-speed processors, and advanced algorithms, the dream of self-driving cars began to look more like a reality. Companies like Waymo, Tesla, and Uber, among others, jumped onto the bandwagon, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. These pioneers have spent billions of dollars and countless hours refining the technology, making self-driving cars safer, more efficient, and more reliable. Today, we are on the cusp of a new era. Autonomous vehicles are no longer just a product of science fiction or a distant dream. They are here, navigating our roads, learning from each trip, and constantly improving. They promise a future where traffic accidents are drastically reduced, where mobility is no longer a privilege, but a right accessible to all, and yes, where you can cook spaghetti while driving. But hold your horses, or in this case, your self-driving cars. We still have miles to go before these vehicles become a common sight on our roads, and an integral part of our daily lives. Now that we've seen how self-driving cars developed, let's delve deeper into how these vehicles navigate the spaghetti-like complexity of our roads. Imagine a car driving itself while you're sitting back, enjoying your favorite podcast. Sounds like magic? It's actually a load of sensors, algorithms, and a pinch of AI. Let's take a peek under the hood, shall we? The engine of this magic, or rather the brain, is a technology known as LiDAR. It's like a bat using echolocation, but instead it uses light waves to map out the world around it. It's the eyes of the self-driving car, constantly scanning and judging distances, making sure it doesn't bump into anything. Next up we have radar. If LiDAR is the eyes, radar is the ears. It listens to the echoes of radio waves to detect objects, their speed and direction. It's like having a superpower that allows you to sense things, even in complete darkness or foggy weather. Then there's GPS, the unsung hero. It's like the car's compass, providing the vehicle with a sense of its location. However, it's not just about where am I, it's about where am I in relation to everything else. It's like a game of connect the dots, where the dots are landmarks, and the lines are the paths the car can take. Now let's talk about computer vision. This technology allows the car to recognize and interpret visual inputs just like a human driver would. It's like the car's own version of Instagram filters, but instead of adding dog ears, it's identifying traffic signs, pedestrian crossings, and other important road elements. And finally, we've got artificial intelligence. It's like the car's brain, or rather a teenager learning to drive. It takes all the data from the LiDAR, radar, GPS, and computer vision and makes sense of it. It learns from its mistakes, improves over time, and hopefully doesn't develop a rebellious phase where it decides to ignore stop signs. So, the next time your GPS leads you to a dead end, remember, it's just a teenager learning to drive. Self-driving cars are not just about turning heads on the road. They promise a future where road accidents are as obsolete as floppy disks. Imagine a world where you can sip your morning coffee, catch up on your favorite podcast, or even take a quick power nap, all while being chauffeured to work by your own car. Sounds like a scene from a sci-fi movie, right? But with autonomous vehicles, this could soon be our reality. These self-driving marvels have the potential to revolutionize our roads, making journeys safer, more efficient, and more accessible. Let's start with safety. Human error is responsible for a whopping 94% of road traffic accidents. From drivers dozing off at the wheel to risky overtaking maneuvers, autonomous vehicles could eliminate these dangers by taking human error out of the equation. So, it's not just about the cool factor, it's about keeping us safe too. Efficiency is another area where autonomous vehicles could really put the pedal to the metal. Picture this, a future where traffic jams are as rare as a blue moon. With their advanced sensors and algorithms, these vehicles can maintain consistent speeds and distances, reducing congestion and making our roads more efficient. But it's not just about getting you from point A to point B quicker. Autonomous vehicles could also open up a world of possibilities for those who currently struggle with mobility. From the elderly to individuals with disabilities, self-driving cars could provide a new level of independence, transforming lives in the process. And just when you thought we were done, hold on to your hats because we're about to add a sprinkle of humor. What did the self-driving car say to the traffic light? Don't turn red, I'm coming through. All right, we admit, autonomous vehicles might have a better sense of direction than a sense of humor. Autonomous vehicles are exciting, but what if we told you there's something even more exhilarating? Enter the world of swarm robotics. Ever watched a flock of birds or a school of fish and wondered how they move so synchronously? That's nature's version of swarm robotics. Welcome to the fascinating world of swarm robotics, where nature's principles of group dynamics are applied to machines. Just as a swarm of bees works collectively to build a hive, swarm robotics is about creating a group of robots that can work together to perform tasks that may be too complex or vast for an individual robot. Let's break it down. Swarm robotics operates on three core principles: decentralization, scalability, and robustness. Decentralization means there's no single robot in charge. Each robot in the swarm operates independently, making its own decisions based on the information it gathers. This is much like a colony of ants, where there's no boss ant telling the others what to do. Secondly, scalability. A swarm can be as small as 2 robots or as large as thousands. This flexibility allows swarm robotics to adapt to a variety of tasks and environments. Imagine a swarm of nano-robots that can navigate through the human body to deliver medication, or a large group of drones mapping out an unexplored terrain. Lastly, robustness. In a swarm, if one robot fails, the task doesn't grind to a halt. The remaining robots can continue their work undeterred, much like how a beehive continues to function, even if some bees don't make it back from their pollen gathering. From search and rescue missions in disaster-stricken areas to space exploration, swarm robotics has the potential to revolutionize various fields. It's about harnessing the power of many to accomplish tasks efficiently and effectively, just as nature has been doing for millions of years. But how do these robots communicate? Telepathy? Well, not quite. In swarm robotics, communication is key. It's like a constant game of Chinese whispers, but without the hilarious misunderstandings. Imagine this. It's Saturday night. You're at a party. Music's pumping, people are dancing, and you're trying to coordinate with your friends on where to go next. It's chaos. But somehow, you manage. That's what it's like for swarm robots. But instead of texting or shouting over the music, they use algorithms, sensors, and wireless communication. Robots in a swarm communicate with each other in a variety of ways. Some use infrared or radio signals to send messages, while others might use visual cues. It's like they have their own secret language, a sort of robotic Morse code, if you will. But communication is only half the battle. Coordination is where the real magic happens. Each robot in a swarm has a job to do. But unlike us humans, who might get distracted or bored, these robots are all business all the time. They use their sensors to understand the environment and their place in it. Based on this information, they decide what to do next. It's like they're playing a never-ending game of chess, always thinking about the next move. Now remember that party scenario? Imagine if everyone at the party was perfectly in sync, if everyone knew exactly what to do and when to do it. No confusion, no miscommunication, just seamless coordination. That's what it's like for swarm robots. And just like in a well-choreographed dance, timing is everything. Robots need to act at the right time to ensure they don't interfere with each other's tasks. It's a delicate balance, a sort of robotic ballet where every robot knows its steps and performs them with precision. But it's not all work and no play for these robots. They're capable of learning and adapting, improving their performance over time. It's a continuous process of trial and error, learning from mistakes and adapting to new situations. It's like they're constantly evolving, getting better and smarter with each task. So we've seen how swarm robots talk, but what can they actually do? Swarm robotics can do more than just impress your friends at a party. They're also excellent at cleaning up messes, and we're not talking about your teenager's bedroom. Let's dive into the diverse applications of swarm robotics, which, by the way, are as varied as the types of robots themselves. One of the most crucial applications of swarm robotics is disaster management. Imagine a building collapsed due to an earthquake. Instead of risking human lives, a swarm of tiny robots could be deployed to navigate through the debris and locate survivors. They could even carry small pieces of rubble away, like a team of ant-sized superheroes. Now, let's take a step outside. Picture a vast field of crops, a farmer's livelihood. Instead of relying on traditional labor-intensive methods, imagine a swarm of drones, each about the size of a hummingbird, buzzing over the crops. They could monitor plant health, distribute fertilizer, and even detect early signs of disease. That's right, these little guys could be the future of agriculture, turning farming into a high-tech industry. Lastly, let's take a giant leap and venture into space. Yes, you heard it right, space. NASA and other space agencies are exploring the use of swarm robotics for planetary exploration. A swarm of robots could cover a larger area, gather more data, and potentially survive longer than a single larger rover. And if one robot fails, the mission continues, making space exploration more resilient and cost-effective. But wait, there's more. Swarm robotics can also be used in healthcare, environmental monitoring, and even entertainment. Imagine a swarm of drones creating spectacular light shows in the night sky. Now, that's a party trick worth talking about. From autonomous vehicles to swarm robotics, the future sure looks exciting, and a little bit like a sci-fi movie. So, there you have it, folks. A glimpse into a future where cars drive themselves and robots work together like a well-oiled machine. We've seen the dawn of autonomous vehicles, explored the fascinating technology behind the wheel, and pondered the thrilling possibilities of the road ahead. We've also delved into the intriguing world of swarm robotics, understanding how a group of robots can communicate and coordinate to accomplish complex tasks. The applications and possibilities of these technologies are vast and thrilling. But what do you reckon? Can you envision a world where you sit back and relax while your car does the driving? Where swarms of robots perform tasks too complex or dangerous for humans? It's an exciting, somewhat mind-boggling future we're heading towards. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the future. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting peeks into what tomorrow might bring. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep learning, and always remember to laugh at the robots.